Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another visual pattern challenge. Here is our pattern today. Here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3, and your challenge is to figure out how many of these Star Wars ships are going to appear in step number 4. If you can do that, can you figure out the number in step 43? And can you write an equation to figure out the number of Star Wars ships in any step at all? So that's the challenge. If you'd like to accept it, pause the video and give it a try. All right, so what's going on here? It looks like we have 3 different types of ships. We've got some X-Wing fighters, we've got some Millennium Falcons, and I don't even know what this thing is. It looks like it just shows up once every time. Is that a Trade Federation ship? I don't know. Well, looks like it's getting bigger pretty quickly. You know, what jumps out at me are these squares, and it looks like maybe we have some patterns of overlapping squares. If I look at step 2, I've got this 2x2 square here and a 3x3 square here. And that ship that I don't know, maybe the Trade Federation ship, is right at the overlap. And then in step 3, it looks like we have a 3x3 and a 4x4. So that seems to be a regular pattern between step 2 and step 3. Oh, and if I think of step 1, we could have a 1x1 square here and a 2x2 square here, again with 1 square of overlap. So that's a 1x1 and a 2x2, and then a 2x2 and a 3x3, and then a 3x3 and a 4x4. So I'm thinking this is going to be a 4x4 square and a 5x5 square with 1 piece of overlap there. So what would that be? That'd be 16 for the 4x4 square and 25 for the 5x5. And then we actually have to subtract 1 away for this overlap because we don't want to count it twice. So minus 1. And let's see, that is 40. Okay, so I'm predicting 40 Star Wars ships in step number 4. Let's take a minute to analyze the numbers and see if we can get some more insight about this. I'm already thinking this is not linear. I have an inkling that this is quadratic because we're dealing with these growing squares. But let's double check. We might get some more information depending on what we find in this. So I'm going to list the step number and the number of ships. So in step 1 there's 4. In step 2 we've got 12. In step 3 we've got 24. And in step 4 we're saying 40. So let's find the difference between each step. 12 minus 4 is 8. 24 minus 12 is 12. And, 40, not 10. And 40 minus 24 would be 16. So we're not getting a constant on the first order differences, so it's not linear, but that makes sense. Let's take the differences on the second order. So 12 minus 8 is 4, and 16 minus 12 is 4. Haha. So here we're starting to get a constant. When the second order differences are constant, it means you're dealing with a quadratic. So we've got an x squared in this somehow. And this number, so if you'd gotten a 2 here on these second order differences, then your leading term would be x squared with just a coefficient of 1. With a 4, it's double that. So we have a 2x squared in this somehow. So that's a good clue. Now, at this point, you could try to maybe block out 2x squareds in each one and see what's left over and do some reasoning based on that. But I think we actually got pretty far with this visual intuition. Really, this seems to be the step number squared and then the step number plus 1 squared, add those together, but then subtract 1 for the overlap. So just like we did here, this is our pattern. We can think of 16 as 4 squared, so that's the step number squared. And 25 is the step number plus 1 squared, that's 5 squared in step 4. And then we subtract 1. So here is our equation. And you could leave it just like that. It represents the visual intuition very nicely. But I think I'm going to go ahead and FOIL this out and add the like terms and so forth. So we've got an x squared. And foiling this, we'd have x squared plus 2x plus 1. And then we've got our minus 1. So x squared and x squared is 2x squared. That's good. That's what we thought it was going to be. And then we've got 2x. And the plus 1 minus 1 go to 0. So this is our equation. 2x squared plus 2x. All right, let's check and make sure that this is working. Let's try it with step 2. That would be 2 times 4, because that's 2 squared, plus 2 times 2 is 4. So 2 times 4 is 8, plus 4 is 12. Yeah, that's how many we got. Let's just try it quickly in step 3. So that'd be 2 times 3 squared is 9, plus 2 times 3. So that's 18 plus 6. Yeah, that is 24. So this equation does seem to check out. Well, all that remains then is to calculate step 43 using this equation. So we can say 2 times 43 squared plus 2 times 43. And let's see, 43 squared is 1849, and times 2 plus 2 times 43 is 86. 1849, 3698 plus 86. I think I'm getting 3784. So 3784 Star Wars ships in step number 43. Is that what you got? Did you get 40 for step 4? Did you come up with this equation? Let me know. Thanks, everybody.